I can see her lying back in her satin dress, in a room where you do what you don't confess. Sundown, you better take care if I find you've been creeping round my back stairs. Sundown, you better take care if I find you've been creeping round my back stairs. She's been looking like a queen in a sailor's dream.
Hey, happy Humber Wednesday. Did I miss a week? I think I might have missed a week. I don't know. It's been kind of a work week, so I need this. This is I'm drinking Maine Beer Company's lunch. I think it's named after this whale that has a I guess a shark took a lunch out of its fin, so it's got a little notch taken out of the fin, so they call the whale lunch. Anyway, it's an IPA. It's like 7.1%, I think. Yes, just 7%, 7% ABV, and I think it's pretty good. Let's see. Yeah, it's exceptional. You know when they put on the bottle, unless they're posers, they say, drink this bottle fresh. It must be pretty good. Yeah, so I had kind of a work week so far. Hopefully it gets better. But let's see, this past weekend I did a brew day. I did, on Saturday, I did a IPA. I think Josh Secor did 2 brew days, one on Saturday and one on Sunday. The one on Saturday, I think his thermometer was reading 4 degrees when he started. So, man, that must be a bitch to get up to boiling on a 4 degree. You must have to really crank up the propane. But mine, let's see. Oh, he told me what he was doing. I forgot. I want to say it was dark beers for some reason. Then let's see. So for my beer, I'm trying to do a clone for Racer 5 IPA. I really, if you didn't kind of pick it up on my last video, I really enjoyed that when I went out to Santa Rosa and went to their one of their breweries. It's supposed to use Cascade Columbus, Chinook, and is it Citra? I don't think it was Citra. It was one other one. But I couldn't find the Cascade, so I substituted what do you call it? Mandarina Bavarian, which I'd never used before. Looked like the closest sub, so I did that, and then I changed up a couple of other hops. But the grain bill was mostly, I think, half 2-row, half Pilsner, and 2 pounds of white wheat, and then some crystal malts. And man, it freaking took off. I used Imperial yeast. It's called House. Seemed to be like a general purpose yeast. So I threw that in there, and it just went nuts. I think it's already fermented out, actually. If it's still, I didn't think, being that it was a, 1065 starting gravity, I didn't think it was going to need a blow-off tube. But it took off, so I threw one on, and thank God I did, because I needed it. But anyway, it's in the fast ferment. I'll probably let that go until next Monday or Tuesday, and then throw a dry hop in before I'm taking off for Thanksgiving on it. And I'll show some videos of that, probably throw it up right here. Hey, happy Homebrew Wednesday. So brew day, brew weekend, it's on Saturday. I'm brewing I don't know what I'm gonna call it yet. I'm gonna try to get as close as I can to Racer 5 IPA. I had that at Bear Republic on my trip to California recently, so I'd like to try to do that. Grain bill, I had to change up a little bit. I decided to mix in some Pilsner, so I've got 4 pounds of 2-row, 4 pounds of Pilsner. I've got, I think, 3 pounds of Crystal 10, 1 pound of Crystal 20, and then 2 pounds of white wheat malt, which was part of the Racer 5 grain bill. The Pilsner wasn't. I decided to put that in just because I got a bunch of Pilsner and thought it'd be interesting to see what that does to it. On the hop side, I've got, you're supposed to use Chinook, Cascade, Centennial, Columbus. I think that's it. There's like those 4 hops. They didn't have, I know there's one other one I can't remember. They didn't have a couple of them, so I'm using half an ounce of of Chinook at 60 minutes. No more additions until 10 minutes. I'm going to use an ounce of Centennial, and then at 5 minutes, I'm going to do an ounce each of Mandarina, Bavarian, and Columbus, and then at 0 I'm going to do a 20-minute steep whirlpool, an ounce each of Denali and Mandarina Bavarian. So the Mandarina Bavarian, I'm trying to use that as a cascade. It seemed to be like the closest substitute I could find. Denali, I just like Denali. Whatever the other one was that was in there, I replaced that with Denali just because I love that pineapple you get from Denali. And then I'm going to dry hop it with Denali and Columbus and Mandarina Bavarian, I believe. I think that's it. I'm also going to use some lemon peels in it too to try to get a little more zest, kind of brightness on it. So I'll do that late in the boil. But anyway, here's my grain bill. You can see that. Got everything out of strike water, about perfect, and I'm coming up on 170, so I'm about ready to strike in. So anyway, I'll come back a little bit later. Cheers. All right, so this is the not so sexy part of homebrewing, where you gotta dig the grains out of the mash tun. No easy way to do it. I use a big grain glove and a what do you call it? Not Tupperware, but those little plastic containers you get from sandwich meat. I repurpose. Yeah, it works out pretty well. I wish I had something to do with these grains. I mean, I should probably get my butt in gear and try to do bread or something like that, but I don't know. I just never had the patience or the time to really, put some thought into it. I used to dump them out in the backyard. The birds would go nuts, but then the dogs started eating them and getting sick too. So, and then my wife was like, hey, we don't need another compost pit out in the backyard. So now I just dump them. That's probably not very eco-friendly. Probably need to come up with a better solution, but until we start figuring out how to turn these things into biscuits or cake or cookies or something, then I'm just going to keep throwing them out. Besides, this one has rice hulls in it because the grain I use the white wheat, so it's suggested to, when you use wheat malt to use rice hulls just in case. So I did. Didn't want to stuck sparge. Honestly, since I've went to this system, I mean, I used to get some stuck sparges when I had the igloo system, but since I've been using this system, I really haven't had a stuck sparge. I've had a stuck plate chiller, but I have now switched to using the not the hop spider, but the big hop canister in the boil. Even though I have a hop blocker, I find that Blickman hop blocker, sorry Blickman, doesn't necessarily stop all the hops. So I use the hop blocker in conjunction with the the big hop canister and hanging off the side of the boil kettle, and that seems to work. So anyway, all right. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and probably turn this off, and I'll chop down some of this video because you probably don't want to sit there and hear me mumble. Cheers. I didn't get a whole lot of video, but got a little bit. Also, before I leave, I'm gonna have to go through a little torture session on Tuesday So I don't know if I mentioned to some of you guys in the chat group, I got some bad news. Looks like the cervical constrictions I have for the spinal column and nerves going out to my limb is degenerated since the last scan, since the last surgery. I had an original surgery, then a revision surgery, so I've had my neck fused twice. The bar gets longer every time they screw into my cervical bones. It's on the top side now, which kind of sucks because if they go any higher where they fused on me, you start losing a lot of motion. So I told my wife, I said, I might have to only be saying no to you from now on because I won't be able to say yes. So, But anyway, they gave me a test called an EMG where they take needles and stick it in your muscles and start shooting electrical signals down. I mean, it's not a very pleasant experience, and it lasts for what seems like forever. So I'm going to do that on Tuesday. And then Tuesday evening, I'll be like laying, sweating, and bleeding on the way down to South Carolina for Thanksgiving with the mother-in-law. So anyway, a little bit of a damper. Yeah, it looks like I might have to go under the knife again, and that just sucks. And depending on what they have to do, it could be a lot longer recovery than the previous two surgeries. Were only about 30 days. This one might be significant. So let's cross our fingers and hope for the best. Because that takes away from my brewing time, and that means I can't do these videos, or I'll have to do some where I'm just drinking all the beer mail you guys are going to send me if I'm laid up. So anyway, the hop experiment is complete. Posted my last video. Yeah, I went through all of them. Some really good beers, and I think we got out of what we wanted to in terms of trying all the different hops. At least I did. I have those for reference, so next time I go to brew something, I'll reflect back through those videos and my notes. And anyway, and I almost picked up one of the hops. What was it? Dr. Rudy, I think. I almost got some of that. But anyway, a lot of fun. Hey, I'll cut this quick. It's 5.5 minutes. Just a quick one to say hi to everybody, and hope you are having a happy homebrew and a very, very happy homebrew Wednesday. Cheers.